I have heard a lot of advocates, survivors, but I've never heard an actual licensed therapist speak on their domestic violence experience.
Right.
Currently, while having a caseload, like
right. Yeah.
not at all. So I felt a lot of shame initially. And then again, dealing with the population I do work with, it's like, oof. Because I see those faces every day. I get to feel those emotions. I watch them go through so much on the inside. Outside of mental health, with them dealing with COs and they BS, because we see it on the news right now, it's just that they have so much against them. And again, I know how the state of Tennessee works. I know how it could escalate to where he could potentially be in that predicament, like to just staying in county just for that stuff. And so, again, like my stepmom, she was locked up for a few years when I was younger. She went to the feds. So I know what it's like to not have a parent there, like that emotional void, that physical void that I couldn't have from her. It was like, it took a toll on me.
Right.
So for potentially my son having to deal with that, luckily he was small, but for him to have to deal with that, I was like, I don't want this. I'd rather leave in silence.
Right.
Which I thought I was doing.
And
that was not enough. Even getting like a parenting plan was not enough. So for some women who are going through that situation, I can just say, like, as a woman and not like a therapist, you know when enough is enough. Like, your body's going to tell you, your mind's going to tell you, you know when enough is enough. Your friends can't tell you they can't keep interceding because you're going to keep pushing them away. And so you're going to have the strength to look at yourself in the mirror and then stare at your children or child and be like, this is not it. This is not safe. Even if it's just one hit, it's not safe.
Right.
Because if you love me enough, you wouldn't do that to me. If you love our child enough, you have never done that to me because I'm the main caretaker.
Right.
So, Mom, you are the main caretaker. Don't settle for something like that. And it's hard to leave because, I mean, the emotional and physical connection, mental connection. And again, domestic violence is not just always physical. It's emotional, mental, physical, financial. And so a lot of women don't leave because of that financial aspect. Because if a man keeps telling me, oh, I'm gonna provide, I'm gonna pay for this and this and this, and you pay for everything, and I don't have to do anything, I'm gonna be hesitant to leave. Because where I'm gonna get this money from? I'm gonna get a job that quick.
Right.
Apartments at $3,000 for a studio. where we gonna go?
You're right. I ain't got three bands.
Diapers, $50 a box.
Right.
So, luckily, again, and my current relationship understands I'm just very hyper independent based off stuff like that. So, is that when you put me in a situation to where I have to show my hand and like literally level up on purpose, I'm never gonna go back to that.
Right.
And so my partner has to tell me like, chill out.
Yeah, relax.
I got this.
Yeah.
And so for women, you just have to get enough courage to like just step away for sure. But don't step away without a plan. I had community. I had a lot of community. Once I finally opened my mouth, woo!
People were ready to help you?
Came to the crib 15 minutes later. What happened? Where he at? Whoa, slow down. The baby's sleeping.
Yeah.
So community stepped up immediately. I got the best rest ever. I found a great lawyer. I finally got to take a vacation for myself. Before my son, I didn't go on vacation for real by myself in like 4 years.
Damn. Okay.
So like they gave me the space to just be myself. Not the therapist, not the mom, not the sister, not the friend, just be human. And like that's very important. So if you're gonna leave, make sure you have community. Make sure you have a plan. Even if you cannot afford a lawyer, think about what a parenting plan will look like if you do have a child, what that would safely look like for you all. Because there's no doubt about it, a man's gonna go to court or do whatever he needs to do to get a child. And by all means, do so. But do that with the child in mind, not do something in spite of the woman.
Right.
Which some men tend to do, for sure.
Man, that was a lot of goodness in there, man. That was a lot of good stuff. I want to revisit something that I think is very important to talk about because I see this conversation on social media so much, and I'm getting a little flustered, but also feeling like I need to say something about this because it's kind of getting crazy. there's a lot of men on social media, I think, that just because we have bread and that we pay for everything, that automatically excludes our partners from having any type of say-so in anything.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And what you just explained is that is a part of domestic violence.
It is. Financial abuse is very real. You're keeping the money to yourself and dangling it over my head, knowing I can't do anything. I got to get your permission for everything. That ties into my mental as well. You are abusing me.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a term, but that's kind of like, I'm going to, maybe it's not a term, but that sounds like financial manipulation. Like literally, if you cannot move without me, like literally, I'm forcing you to be codependent.
Yes.
You're not even codependent by choice. You're codependent because I'm forcing you to be financially codependent on me. And a lot of men like that because they like the control that they get to exercise. And they'll front and pretend like they don't like. But if you're saying, yo, listen, you're not allowed to say anything if I'm paying for everything, you like that. You do like that. Like you like that you like that dynamic. So for me personally, like the reason why I'm talking about this is because I don't want the men that are listening to this to fall into that trap of believing that just because you make bread and you provide, that makes you a dictator and like you're the only person that has any type of say-so in anything. Like that's not a recipe for a productive, healthy relationship.
But then you got to ask, what was that example, set at? Where was that tone accepted?
Right.
Like some people say, I see my dad do it. But in reality, a couple of guys that I work with, that tone was set of them dealing with poverty and them seeing their mothers in that predicament. And they don't want to deal with that anymore. And so that control over money is like, I don't want to be in this space. And when they're starting to lose that control of having everything perfect in their mind, it's like, okay, she needs to get in line as well. And they're not always seeing it as such, though.
Yeah, you know what's so interesting? Now that I think about it, man, I used to be a very anxious, like I told you, I deal with anxiety. And that started for me very young, but I didn't realize it was anxiety. I just used to think that I was just like, this is what being a man is. And so I was in a relationship and I would be telling her like, yo, you can't wear this. You can't do that. You can't. And I would think that, I'm just exercising boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm setting and enforcing. And we didn't have that terminology back then. I didn't know what the hell a boundary was. All I knew was I'm a man and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what you can and can't wear. You going to go yay or nay. Either you going to change your clothes, you going to sit in the house. And I'm going outside of what I put on.
Exactly. Mandii, you got it. That's exactly what I was on. Right? And it wasn't until after that relationship where I sat down and did that self-reflection where I was able to realize like, oh, nah, you was actually dealing with some insecurity. You was anxious, bro. You were worried that if she went to these places and she looked too good, that she would eventually be like, nah, you're a dub and leave you. Like you were actually operating off of a fear of abandonment and not rationale. Like this wasn't like logic that what you were exhibiting, right? You try to make it seem like it's logic and it does come.
It's logical to you.
Right. It does sometimes come off as logical if you word it a certain way, right? But it really, the feeling that was underneath all of that sparked the entire conversation was anxiety and a fear of abandonment.